So now today we have the session talk on international and national fellowship opportunities while doing PhD. So this session is going to handle by Professor Dr. P. SHANMUGAM, Chief Scientist, CSIR CLRI, ADR Chennai. Since Sir has already handled first day session, so I think it's like the introduction which is not necessary. Already you know about SAR credentials in his field, and as well as SAR has received so many awards. In fact, SAR is guiding our non-university research scholars. And based on his, and also SAR has received award from former Chief Minister Jayalalitha for his excellent work in the field of environmental engineering. So with this note, now may I request Dr. P. SHANMUGAM sir to deliver a lecture on fellowship opportunities, national and international level. Over to you, sir.
Good morning indeed to all of you. It's been a pleasure for me again to come back and talk to you on what I've done day before yesterday. Possibly I will continue some part of it as the first instance, and then I will get to you about what are the international and national fellowship opportunities are there for you to continue your PhD in abroad, having registered in India as a split site fellowship. I will define you about those fellowships, how you could do part of your PhD here in India and part of your PhD in abroad and come back and submit in Anna University and get your internationally exposed renowned PhD thesis. That's an interest. So day before yesterday, I've defined to you about what is the definition between basic research, applied research, and theoretical research. You would have understood by now. I hope all of you have submitted a proposal for PhD while submitting the application. Am I right? So based on what I have taught on day before yesterday, how many of your research proposals that you have submitted are applied research? Raise your hands. How many of your research proposals that you have submitted are applied research? Please do not mind the question applied research. You might be able to apply your outcome after some time, having realized, oh, I have so much tremendous application in this area. That time you might be able to apply it. So do not worry about those who have not said about applied research. But as I said before on that day, if you apply your research in any of the industry, municipality, society, wherever it is, you have chance of appreciation. You have chance of being encouraged with a lot of funding opportunities. Because these days, the government don't give funding. Of course, they give extramural research for basic research. They do give funding. But the more funding is awarded towards product-oriented research. Because today, any industry, they wanted a research, but they wanted an output on the next day. I'll give you 100 rupees, you do research, but your benefit should get me 200 rupees. If not, why should I fund it? So when you are going to submit a research proposal in DST, DBT, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, every ministry, they ask you about what outcome in terms of finance you are going to give it to the industry, society, and so on. So your application is more imminent, more required when you do your research. So the purpose I brought in here for you is to make yourself applicable research of what you are going to do. Because thanks to Professor Kumaresan sir and other colleagues of CFR, that they have brought into the students of what is to know about technology readiness level. I'm going to make some videos. How many of you knows about TED Talk, TED, TED Talk? Raise hands. Okay, you all know about TED Talk, at least around 30-40% of you know. Technology enabled digital talk. Lots of people have said about. Thousands of videos are available. Just Google it, TED talk. You will have a lot of videos. But I copied around 500 videos almost 15 years back. So those videos are very inspiring videos for researchers. How? Because within a master student, I have done quite a lot of work on product oriented. So I will just scan through some of the videos, just silently watch it only for 5 minutes. I will not take more. Because just the nutshell of what is the intention of the video, you have to grab it. Afterwards, if anybody not able to download, because most of the videos are become obsolete, you are not able to download it, I know it. And those of you not able to download, you can ask Professor Kumaresan sir. He will tell you my email ID or anything you want. He will help me out. You can reach him, sir, I need videos of this. Because don't get it like a junk. I know you will not watch it. It is a waste of memory occupy. You buy a 1 TB out of which 25% will be this video only. So just ask what kind of videos you are interested, you can tell him. If it is available with me, I will share it to him, he will share it with you after the session is over. But you should be going to TED Talk video series, and whichever you are not able to download or whichever you are interested in more, those you should select and send a mail to, even to me directly, don't worry. And sir, I need video of this. If I have, I'll be able to share it.
Good morning. I'm here today to talk about autonomous flying beach balls. No, agile aerial robots like this one. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the challenges in building these and some of the terrific opportunities for applying this technology. So these robots are related to unmanned aerial vehicles. However, the vehicles you see here are big. They weigh thousands of pounds, are not by any means agile. They're not even autonomous. In fact, many of these vehicles are operated by flight crews that can include multiple pilots, operators of sensors, and mission coordinators. What we're interested in is developing robots like this, and here are 2 other pictures of robots that you can buy off the shelf. So these are helicopters with 4 rotors, and they're roughly a meter or so in scale and weigh several pounds. And so we retrofit these with sensors and processors, and these robots can fly indoors without GPS. The robot I'm holding in my hand is this one, and it's been created by 2 students, Alex and Daniel. So this weighs a little more than 1/10 of a pound. It consumes about 15 watts of power, and as you can see, it's about 8 inches in diameter. So let me give you just a very quick tutorial on how these robots work. So it has 4 rotors. If you spin these rotors at the same speed, the robot hovers. If you increase the speed of each of these rotors, then the robot flies up, it accelerates up. Of course, if the robot were tilted, inclined to the horizontal, then it would accelerate in this direction. So to get it to tilt, there's one of 2 ways of doing it. So in this picture, you see that rotor 4 is spinning faster and rotor 2 is spinning slower. And when that happens, there's a moment that causes this robot to roll. And the other way around, if you increase the speed of rotor 3 and decrease the speed of rotor 1, then the robot pitches forward. And then finally, if you spin opposite pairs of rotors faster than the other pair, then the robot yaws about the vertical axis. So an onboard processor essentially looks at what motions need to be executed and combines these motions and figures out what commands to send to the motors 600 times a second. And that's basically how this thing operates. So one of the advantages of this design is when you scale things down, the robot naturally becomes agile. So here, R is the characteristic length of the robot. It's actually half the diameter. And there are lots of physical parameters that change as you reduce R. The one that's the most important is the inertia, or the resistance to motion. So it turns out the inertia which governs angular motion, scales as a fifth power of r. So the smaller you make r, the more dramatically the inertia reduces. So as a result, the angular acceleration, denoted by Greek letter alpha here, goes as 1 over r. It's inversely proportional to r. The smaller you make it, the more quickly you can turn. So this should be clear in these videos. On the bottom right, you see a robot performing a 360-degree flip in less than half a second. Multiple flips, a little more time. So here, the processors on board are getting feedback from accelerometers and gyros on board and calculating, like I said before, commands at 600 times a second to stabilize this robot. So on the left, you see Daniel throwing this robot up into the air, and it shows you how robust the control is. No matter how you throw it, the robot recovers and comes back to him. So why build robots like this? Well, robots like this have many applications. You can send them inside buildings like this as first responders to look for intruders, maybe look for biochemical leaks, gaseous leaks. You can also use them for applications like construction. So here our robots are carrying beams, columns, and assembling cube-like structures. I'll tell you a little bit more about this. The robots can be used for transporting cargo. So one of the problems with these small robots is their payload carrying capacity. So you might want to have multiple robots carry payloads. This is a picture of a recent experiment we did, actually not so recent anymore, in Sendai, shortly after the earthquake. So robots like this could be sent into collapsed buildings to assess the damage after natural disasters, or sent into reactor buildings to map radiation levels. So one fundamental problem that the robots have to solve if they are to be autonomous is essentially figure out how to get from point A to point B. So this gets a little challenging because the dynamics of this robot are quite complicated. In fact, they live in a 12-dimensional space. So we use a little trick. We take this curved 12-dimensional space that builds up momentum and then changes its orientation, that builds up momentum and then changes its orientation and then recovers. It's to be done in a decentralized way. Again, if you have lots and lots of robots, it's impossible to coordinate all this information centrally fast enough or payload carrying capacity. Another application I want to show you, again, this is in our lab, this is outside into the real world. And what if there's no GPS? Thing for the very first time, and creating this map on the fly. I want to conclude with a music video. I want to introduce the creators, Alex and Daniel, who created this video. So before I play this video, I want to tell you that they created it in the last 3 days after getting a call from Chris. And the robots that play the video are completely autonomous. You will see 9 robots play 6 different instruments. And of course, it's made exclusively for TED 2012. Let's watch.
This is the final output. The robots are playing music. But all 10 robots put together synchronized to make a music. Okay, what have you understood? You can make a product like this. This is not a robotics of making music or making finding risk system. If any building is collapsed or building is earthquake happens, these robots can go inside and find out who are all active, who are all live, what it is. But this is a macro robotics. The nano robotic, micro robotic is whenever there is a neurologist, doctors in medical hospitals, when doctor cut the nerves, by mistake, you might cut the whole nerve. But the robotics don't do mistake. So they develop a robotics to do neurological operations, nerve operations. Who does? The doctor sitting in US, doctor sitting in elsewhere can do it. So somebody has asked a question about artificial intelligence. Who are there? Are you here today? That person is gone? Okay. You asked about artificial. Now the world is changing towards digital. Everything, every research is changing toward digital, artificial intelligence. My humble request to you, lot of technology is digital, everything comes in. Do not deteriorate your thinking potential. Whatever the machine comes, whatever the digital world, whatever the robotics, whatever comes in, activate your thinking potential, activate, you become a good researcher. If not, the artificial intelligence, human brain become an artificial intelligence and machine's brain become a natural intelligence one day. Because it has already been predicted, all of you would have seen Endran movie, no? Endran movie. So the artificial intelligence can create thousands of city babus in the future. And the actual hero will be artificial intelligence, the machines will be intelligent, natural intelligence. So we should not allow it to deteriorate our own thinking potential. That is the purpose of this course. Whatsoever comes, whatever the advancement comes, we should never lose our own thinking potential. We should be the supreme power. The human have been a supreme power because that's how the God has created the human system. We are the exceptional creatures, no doubt about it. Because wherever you see, the humans are exceptional creatures. That is the reason. When I say the research is of, go back, slide. Yeah. So today, I will talk about how you can make up your application-oriented research. Get back, next. So as I already said about, the applied research has got a product, it got a commercial value. Okay? Throughout my career, throughout my 33 years of my scientific service, I never worked on the theoretical work. Any problem, we take it in the lab. We always think before the lab experiment is executed, laboratory itself. Will it have application in the field? Or it will become a redundant research? So all my students, I keep asking, what applications it is going to have? If not, please don't do it. At least a peanut of application should have in industry. If not, don't do it. So that is the reason those who are going for application-oriented research, your publications will be very less. Why? Because you have to transform your basic research into proof of concept and the proof of concept into pilot plant into commercial plant. When you go into commercial plant, there will be lot of problems will come questioning the basic research. But if you only just publish and forget it, you don't have to worry about the endurance test. Endurance test means the vehicle, like a car is made to drive or flight is made to operate. It has to successfully operate on the purpose it was designed. That is called endurance test. If it is not done, the whole of your exercise become wrong. So, out of my 33 years, 50% of the time I used to spend on site. I used to spend with industries. I used to be on tour for industries. That is how we promoted as a scientist, transforming technology to industries. Only for the past 10 years, I have got more acquainted with the teaching and coming back to students. So almost by my early career to mid career, I always been with the lab and industry only. So why I so here, sir, to prove the concept, to operate it and make it successful and make it workable, because so many other problems will entangle. When you go for mechanical, other problems will entangle. Means the subjects which you don't know. So therefore, please do not worry about much publication. Those who are applied research going to do it, you will have more application, but publications will be obviously less. Do not worry about it. But you will be generating millions of rupees worth of commercial value for your product. Need not be the product will have thousands of papers or hundreds of papers. I've seen in many of the interview, people publish how many papers you have. Sir, I have 100 papers. In how many years? In 10 years. So 10 years, every year 10 papers one should publish. And to publish 10 papers in 1 year, how much of experimental time you have to spend? So how effectively in 1 year you can publish a paper? How many papers you can publish? So let us ask scholars, how many papers you can publish in 1 year? Practically. 5 papers, 10 papers, 20 papers, 30 papers. With your own experiment, not with others' experiment. You conduct experiment, you write paper, you correct it, you evaluate it, you publish it, you send it for reviewer, you comment it the reviewer. How many papers you can make it in 1 year? One paper maximum. If you join with your friends, 2 papers. If you join with some other friends, 3 papers. If you make 24 hours working, hard working, 5 papers. Can you make 15 papers in 1 year? Is it possible? So if you make, people will suspect. Then the doubt will come, okay, show me what are the papers that you publish. Oh, how many papers you were the first author? How many papers you are the second author? How many papers you are the last author? How many papers you are the corresponding author? All these things will come. So now itself decide, you want to have a first author paper, product value oriented paper, and a quality paper. So do not worry about the jungle paper, sir, I have 40 papers. But what application it has? In 2 years, I have 40 papers, somebody says. So therefore, my intention of saying you, do not worry about a 3 years period. If you are working for an applied research, your publications might drastically go down. Do not worry, but think of the value of the product that you are going to generate. That value of the product will become more than 1 million than 2 papers that you are going to publish or 3 papers. But as an essential qualification for you to demonstrate a publishable research work that you have carried out, for to qualify to become a PhD, you need to definitely publish minimum 3 papers before your PhD, whether you are working for applied research or basic research or whatsoever it is. Because why you have to publish? When you publish, you write your methodology, you write your introduction, particularly the methodology, experimentation, everything. You may not know whether what experiment you have conducted is right or wrong. So you will send it to the first journal, and 3 reviewers will give you comment. Oh, this experiment you have conducted is wrong, this should have been conducted like this, it is completely wrong. So that become an input for your good PhD work. If you submit your research paper as early as possible within 1 year, and those input of your experiment, of your plan, everything will become a good input for your PhD work. So now that is the reason I am going to talk to you about. I already told you what is technology readiness level. Some people have asked me questions, but you just Google it, what is technology readiness level. So much of information are available. Okay, and you can know about how it is. So as I said yesterday, I want to get my PhD, I wish to get my PhD, I make it to happen my PhD. Which is the correct answer? Which one do you want to do? Because on the first day I told, the PhD should be taken by the merit of the scholar, not to be given by the mercy of the supervisor. That concept you have to adopt. I don't say, India, this has been practiced, nowhere. But there are few. If you change your culture, change your attitude, it is good for you. So, anybody? Which one is the correct? Third one? Just raise, be bold. Tell, which one? Third one, beautiful. That's the correct answer. So, planning your PhD duration, 0 to 6 months, complete literature survey, 6 to 12 months, confirm research gap, 12 to 16 months, confirm your experimental and graphical methodology, 16 to 36 months, complete all your experiment with the publishing minimum 3 research papers, 36 to 42 months, within 3.5 years, thesis writing and submission, and keep updating your literatures the day one you started your research, and you submit your thesis at least before 4th year. But please bear in mind, if you continue without submitting in 5 years, in 6 years and 7 years, whenever you apply for a postdoctoral fellow in abroad, like you have seen a Pennsylvania State University, PSU, in US just now, Matthew and Alex work. When you apply for abroad, the starting duration and ending duration of your PhD, if you write 7 years, if you write 6 years, if you write 5 years, they will underestimate your efficiency in the delivery of your research work. But if you finish it, if you say how long you took your PhD, they will ask us, I took only 3 years, 4 years. Yes, you are a reasonably a good student. So please do not take more years. That is very much important for you. So difference between literature review and review of literature. Anybody know what is the difference between literature review and review of literature? Sir, it is both are same. What is the difference? Anybody? What is the difference between literature review and review of literature? Pardon? Okay. No, correctly wrong. Anybody else? What is the difference between literature review and review of literature? Literature review is written by BTech students. Review of literature is written by PhD students. Now you tell me what is the difference. BSc students write literature review. Literature review means, I told you on that day, you collect all the literatures, you paraphrase and filter the literatures of specific parameters. You say first author, Shan et al. Concluded, PhD 7 was optimum. That sentence over. Next sentence, Van et al. Concluded PhD 9 was optimum. Next sentence, Lin et al. Concluded PhD 10 was optimum. One sentence about the PH, you are telling in a line, a paragraph, that is called literature review. Sir, what is called review of literature? Who can be a reviewer? Who can be a reviewer? Who can point comprehensively about 5 different people, 5 different work, 5 different parameter, 5 different people's work, you compare it, they are called reviewer. So what is called review of literature? When you write, Shan et al. Concluded PH 9 was optimum. Similarly, Van et al. Concluded PH 6 was PH 8.5 was optimum. Supporting to this, Lin et al. Concluded PH 9.2 was optimum. Contrarily, Babu et al. Concluded PH 4 is optimum. This is called review of literature. In the first scenario, what I told? Just point. PH. Shan et al. Did this, Van et al. Did this, Lin et al. Did this, Lee et al. Did this. That's all. No comparison. In literature review, no comparison. But in review of literature, no return of review of literature without comparison. A review of literature cannot be written without comparison. So, when your review of literature is written, how normally people should write to learn to write, many authors have reported the optimum pH for a specific system. For instance, Shan et al. Concluded pH 9 was optimum, which was supported by Van et al. Similarly, Lin et al. Concluded the pH 9.2 was optimum. Contrarily, Babu et al. Concluded pH 2 was optimum, attributed to the reason also. That is what is called a review of literature. Now you understood? How many of you not understood? Because as a part of the journey of your PhD, you are supposed to know what is called literature review and review of literature difference. If you know the difference, then while writing, because whenever you write an introduction of any research paper, you bring it the sentence in such a way, you start with a broad thing and then you narrow down, then you narrow down, then you narrow down. So you will tell related to the problem of your research. Broadly, these people have said similarly, contrarily, consequently, eventually, all these, you have to criticize the other's work. Sometimes we write, because I said only Shan et al. Instead of only saying one author, Shan et al., Win et al., Lan et al., E et al., Lee et al. Concluded pH 9 was optimum. So how many authors I have written? Supporting to this, Win et al., Mu et al., Liu et al. Concluded pH 9.2 was optimum. Contrarily, Babu et al., Segar et al., Chandran et al., Gubaran et al. Concluded pH 4 was optimum. How many authors I have taken? 4 authors. Or contrarily, pH 4 was also considered contrary to this. In bracket, you write 4 authors. Dash et al. Here, dash et al. Here, dash et al. Here, 4 authors. That is how one will evaluate the art of writing your research paper or PhD thesis. How many more authors you are introducing while writing? If you are able to introduce only one author, your knowledge have not grown beyond the BTech level. If you are able to write 2 authors or 3 authors in one sentence, your knowledge level, research writing level is elevated to MTech level. If you are able to write 4 authors, 5 authors, 6 authors together of the same concept, your knowledge level has elevated to PhD level. You got my point? Hope you would have understood. So that's what I am going to define you. What is called general literature review. Similar and dissimilar statements from each broad topic. Review of literature, chapter-wise conclusion. Because not only one chapter in the review of literature you should write. You have to connect the other chapters, impact of other parameters also into the first author. For example, pH is there. You should connect temperature. You should connect conductivity. You should connect else parameters connecting to this. It is impacting or attributed to. That is what is called review of literature. So in this review of literature, in literature review, there will be only one parameter you will be talking about. BTech students will write. pH. In the literature review, you will write pH. pH was important for this process. Shan et al. Did pH 9.4, he produced more product. Next sentence, Van et al. He produced more product in 9.2. That's all, pH over. The next chapter, temperature. Murthy et al. Concluded pH temperature 20 was optimum. Like Babu et al. Concluded. So he may not know how to criticize the work of others. But that is what you learn in the part of PhD. That's what is called review of literature. Chapter-wise conclusions relevant to the each chapters, similar and dissimilar statements from each chapters, and the possible methods to be adopted and not adopted methods. So all you have to criticize it. So then the last one is called critical review of literature. Now you tell me what is the difference between review of literature and critical review of literature? What is the difference? What could be the difference? Sir, if you write only 2 authors or 3 authors, you link it, it is called review of literature. When you are able to link in 2 paragraphs the information about 30 authors in bracket 5 author, in bracket 5 author, in bracket 2 author, in bracket 2 author, total 30 authors, you are able to write critical review of literature. You should be more critics. The point of a researcher as you develop mentally, you should be more critics. Your parents would feel that you become a real researcher, your data analysis, interpretation power, the power of perception, and the power of doing things, You should be more of sharp and shrewd and fast and perfect. That's what you develop your own self as a researcher. Researchers should have a different mindset, because analytical ability you will be increasing by doing a lot of statistical, mathematical, analytical ability you will develop. That is how you have to differentiate yourself as a researcher with a banker, with a person of other system. Okay. So they prepare a review of literature summary in a tabulated form. I said 30 literatures, How do you make 30 literatures information in one way? How do you make it? You make like a table. How this table? I'll show you what the table is. Because I'm not going to make you each and everything. So this is the table. You take all your parameters on the right side. Temperature, pH, optimum OLR, optimum quantitative variables, not a qualitative variable. So in the left side, authors et al. I've written 6. Normally, most of my PhD students, when they submit the thesis, they summarize 50 papers work relating to the parameters what they have concluded in the research, relating to the each parameters. They will put the quantitative output in the table. You can see here 20 and 2 to 24, 15 hours is the optimum hydraulic retention time. And you can see the hydrogen production level 100 ppm, 140, 1.29, 163, 137 you can see here. So the CO2 21, 32, likewise you can keep going, this next, continuing the table. It is like this, like this. Like this, if you prepare a summary table, make sure everyone's PhD thesis should have a summary table of the literature review of literature. It is very, very important. Because if you are able to tabulate all the 50 literatures in one table, and you can find the research gap very easily. So 50 papers or maybe 100 papers. Once you make it, which pH nobody has attempted. Isn't it easy to look at the paper and find out? Not only that, tomorrow you got some good result. Some pH result you got it as a product. You got a better yield in a specific pH. In my pH, which I got a maximum product, how many people got the same data? You can come back to the data and check it in the table. How many of the earlier researchers got similar data like you? If you have a ready-made table, anytime it will help you. So many people got data like me. My research data is perfect. But that is the reason I keep asking you, say you are producing a data, you are writing a research paper. Who is authorized to confirm whether your data is correct or not? Who is authorized? Who is authorized to say your data is correct or not? Okay, you did some mistake. Whose fault it is? Your fault? Kate's fault? Whose fault it is? I don't want to say whose fault it is, but you must develop calibration validation techniques for each parameters. Each data you collect, you must have your own calibration validation technique. And you should be owning the good or bad data. You should be owning the good or bad data. So that should be your practice. You are the owner of a good or bad, not your gate. The PhD is for you, not your gate. So without referring, sir, this person's data is correct, so therefore my data is correct. It is a little encouragement, but not necessarily 100% the same thing can happen. So you must be prepared to bear the good and bad of your data. So if you don't want to say somebody will criticize all your data is wrong, while planning your experiment itself, you must have data calibration validation techniques for each data, each analysis. When you have, say for example, simple example I am giving you. Sir, a blood glucose level is measured in an instrument. Okay? Sir, I want to know whether the glucose level instrument is correct or not. How do you confirm? I will say the instrument is wrong. I will say your perception is wrong. I will say your location and thing is wrong, because most of the data, when you feed it in Excel, instead of 10.1, they will write 1.0. And all the data will become 1.0, 1.0, maybe instead of 10 or 100. And whose responsibility is? So if you calibrate with the standard, if there is a glucose meter, you just take another solution of water or something, add 1 milligram of glucose into it extra, known milligram. So in your original sample, it is giving 100 milligram, and add 30 milligram more into your standard solution, and give the standard solution also to the glucometer. What value it should give? 130 for your sample. And your original sample, it must have given 200 or 300, whatever it is. But you are expecting a calibrated solution of having a 130 nanogram of glucose as standard stock solution. So if you are getting the same value, almost closer by 128, 29, 32, 34, something, that means this instrument is right. Because any sample when you insert, it is giving 100. But the same sample, you are putting a known 30 milligram per liter inside, only 30. Total become 130. If that 130 is your instrument is able to detect, don't you feel the instrument is right, your data is correct, everything is perfect? This is the kind of calibration validation methods you have to adopt for every data you are going to collect. Therefore, you will never end up in doubting your answers or the questions. Okay? So, planning your research work. Sir, how do I plan it without failing all this? So, what is called a smart PhD? What is smart? Smart PhD. The S stands specific, M stands materialistic, A stands achievable, R stands researchable, and T stands time targeted. This is what is called a smart PhD. Sir, what is specific? You should be focused, take a problem, non-ambiguous problem, non-obvious problem. So you should be very specific. Do not choose a problem, sir, I will go to the Mars and find out whether water is there or not. That is my PhD. That's what, when I went to England for starting my PhD guide asked me within 3 to 4th month, Sean, can you prepare your work, what you are going to do with me for 3 to 4 years? I have written, put all the effort, hard work, everything, wrote 60 pages and went and gave it to him. Then he asked me, Sean, it is for 10 PhD or 1 PhD? I said, it is for 1 PhD. No, you have written as if you are going to do 10 PhD with me. Take it, go back, sharpen it, trim it off, come to the direct focus and trim it off everything. Come back with 1 PhD with the narrow down. Be focused. Try to achieve something identical to you. Something which can fetch an identity to you. Do not be too lateral. Come narrow down. Then after 2 months I went and gave it. Sean, it looks like 5 PhD. So from 10 he came down to 5. Then after another 3 months I gave it. Sean, it looks like 3 PhD. Then on the first year, okay, now you have trimmed off in 1 year. Now you have planned for 1 PhD. You go ahead. So you should, that's what the relationship between the teacher and the student is. That's what the role of a PhD supervisor is. Facilitating to learn to trim off. Your guide is a facilitator to learn to trim off your thinking potential. Your guide is the facilitator to trim off your thinking potential. Wide, trim it off. 10, trim it off to 8, 8, trim it off to 5, 5, trim it off to 1. When you reach 1, you will be highly focused, you will be highly monitored, you will be highly controlled. your output will become very significant and identical. Okay? So, what is called materialistic? Sir, the instruments should be available. Sir, the facilities should be available. The software should be available. Sir, I am going to do a CFD modeling of my capillary and respiratory system of a human body. But I do not have a CFD software, computational fluid dynamics software. Then how will you do it? And you don't have fund to purchase it with 8 lakhs rupees. How will you plan it? So therefore, be a materialistic planner for your PhD. Then achievable. You should be able to achieve in how many years? How many years? How many years you should be able to achieve your PhD? How many years? 3 to 4 years, not 5 years, 6 years. So plan it and run in such a way. And see, many of the middle career scholars are here, like 40s, 45. I just want to tell you one thing. Very simple. You know the eagle, Eagle, it has to fly to the top, very high altitude to visualize its prey, its food as a small, the கோழி குஞ்செல்லாம் visualize பண்ணோம்னா மேலே பறக்கணும். அப்போ அது மேலே பறக்கணும்னா as it grows, the feathers will be too much. Feathers will be too much. Will it be able to fly to that height? Then what it will do? It will pluck its flowers, its feathers, and throw it away, trim it off, and then it will start flying. So likewise, when you grow age, you have to trim off your, not only the feathers, your mind, you should keep active as you are in 25, 35, when you come into the research. If not, sir, I become 40, but I will take 6 years. Sir, I will become 45, I will take 7 years. So the age should not be a matter in completing your PhD within the stipulated time of 4 years. That is very important. Because when you are PhD, you are a PhD scholar for irrespective of the age. Somebody finishes in 4 years and 3 years at the age of 24, 25. Just because of your age, PhD is a PhD. Age you are taking 7 years, you will be facing problem in getting a job. When you write, I took 7 years in completing a PhD. And somebody will write 3 years, I have completed 4 papers and finished my PhD. And the 25-year-old boy also goes for it. You go at the age of 42, who will get a job? And you cannot claim that I did PhD at the age of 40 or 45. So you should learn to run, learn to trim off yourself, trim off your mind, trim off your habits, trim off your other activities, and be focused to finish your PhD in time. Compare with any youngsters, young scholars. So do not delay it and do not make it. So now, last one is time targeted. That's what I asked you. What time you will be able to finish it? In 3 years, 4 years? So that you should work from the first year onwards, the day one. Oh, my train journey is going to complete in 3.5 years, 4 years. Plan meticulously. Do not disturb time. Have a calendar for 3 years. Have a calendar for 3.5 years. What you are going to do in first month, second month, third month, 48 months, 4 years. Develop. That is why when you are preparing a comprehensive Viva, you have been asked to prepare a Gantt chart. You know Gantt chart? First 3 months what you are going to do, second 3 months what you are going to do, third 3 months what you are going to do, fourth quarter what you are going to do. The Gantt chart, you should practice it and try to finish as quickly as possible. So design an experiment. So design properly so that you will not fail. So design properly, and as good as possible, you must design as quickly to complete it. So what are the equipments you are going to carry out? You should look at it. And what are the analytical techniques you are going to carry out? You must. So as a part of your PhD, try to take membership, student membership in lot of international societies. Automobile Society International, International Combustion Society, American Society of Civil Engineers. Take a membership. Student membership, it's free of cost. You don't need to pay. But what is the benefit? You can travel internationally. Sometimes they give you bursary. There will not be registration fee for your international conference. So you must take good membership from international societies of your own subject. International molecular microbiology, Journal of Environmental Engineering gives International Environmental Society a membership. So likewise, you take lot of international membership. So you use lot of statistical tools and like response surface methodology for planning your experiment. So normally, if you fail to plan, that will plan to fail you. If you fail to plan, that will plan to fail you. So please have a good planning of your experiment. So any activity, normally I say, if you fail to plan, that will plan to fail you. So please have good. So likewise, you must know what are the softwares available. What are the softwares in your field? How do you make it coordinated? So why I am saying here, any research, thematic mapping is very important. What is called a thematic mapping? As you join in the first year itself, first 3 months or 4th month, you should prepare a graphical abstract of your methodology. What is called a graphical abstract of your methodology? What are you going to do? Is my plan 1, plan 2, plan B, plan C. I'm going to integrate this. Graphical abstract of your methodology. If you want to have any example of graphical methodology, please write to your coordinators. I will send you, or you can write to me by looking at my email. I will send you what is called a graphical methodology. So you must have a graphical methodology. So this is like at the end of your data analysis, you must use the software. This is the computational fluid dynamics software that we have quantified in the north, east, south and west coordinate, how the dispersion of a pollutant takes place. So all your data you pool into a thematic mapping based on the digital coordination of the, or the geogridal coordination of the area. So these are some of the mapping technique. So whenever you write your thesis, you should never fail to use these words like eventually, consequently, apparently, subsequently, interestingly, nevertheless, contrary to this, supporting to this, therefore, however, for instance, in addition to this, in view of this. If you are able to use these words, that means you are able to connect. If you are able to use these words subsequently, interestingly, nevertheless, eventually. You know, in Tamil, when I ask you to write something, I know you will write very interestingly good stories. ஆச்சரியப்படுவதாக இதெல்லாம் நடந்துச்சு. Like that you will write. That's what the language barrier. In English also, because if you have any difficulty in writing, you must take up a course. Which course? I can tell you about IELTS or TOEFL course. International English Language Testing System or TOEFL course. Why I insist you to take this course? When you submit your PhD thesis, your thesis is going for a foreign examiner or not. So your English level should fulfill the ability to understand by a foreign examiner or not. So if you take a course of IELTS, it's just 4 months you can complete. If you take a course on TOEFL, at the beginning itself, because you are all the beginning career, excellent write-up skill it will give you. Because there is a comprehensive writing chapter, writing test is there, listening test is there, listening comprehension is there. And that is the reason we were all, before we get an admission for PhD, the basic qualification is, I must get 85% for getting an admission in IELTS score. When I did, I was 35 years, I sat with 18-year-old boys and went for an IELTS exam to qualify to get a PhD admission. So why I say so, and after going there, they put me, no, you have to write your English in British style of English, for which you should go, all the non-native speaking English people should go for language classes. So the language is a very, very important. That's why this course, as I don't know whether I have told you or not, I'm conducting this course. I think that Soundarya madam may be telling some English classes were conducted before by Soba would have taken. So how to write English? Because almost 15 years I am conducting this course for a 3-day capsule program. Many places like NIT Warangal, NIT Trichy, NIT Calicut, and other universities like Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. I had 2 speakers specifically for how to write good English for your research paper. for your PhD thesis. So learn the English is very important to use it and make yourself. So now I've come into the second part of fellowship opportunities. Okay. So now you tell me, how many of you, okay, possibly I'll take a few question hours, question time. And today I will start with this batch, not with this side. I hope all of you, those who are sitting in the same side, you are sitting in the same place. Anybody have shifted from here to here? Okay. Anybody else? 2. Okay. Only 2, 3. Okay. So if you want very quickly, but this time I will take in one row only 2 people because I have very limited time. In one row, I will take only 2 people can say what is the interesting message, and I will take only from this side. One row, only 2 persons can say because I have a lot to deliver, and I'll start from the last row. What is the message of take home? Please do not say the take home message for the sake of completing your task, sir. Sir has asked something I have to say. Don't say like this. What was interesting to you that you say? Take home message, every message cannot be a take home message. Something has impressed to you will be a take home message. Okay, in a movie if you go, you will take a take home message, am I right? A good song. But how long you remember? 20 years, 30 years. But in this class, whatever the take home message, how long you are going to remember? Sir, 2 days afterwards, we forget your name also, sir. That is not. So remember what you have learned from here. Not my name. Remember what you have learned from here. It's insignificant whether you remember or not. But remember what you have learned. Last row, only 2 persons can say 2. Smart PhD. Oh, very quickly said. Okay. What is smart PhD? Next person can say the same row. Please give the mic quickly. If not, we can come to the next row. No wastage of time. Yes, please. Smart.
Facilitating to trim your thinking process.
Yeah.
And I also like the way we have to calibrate and validate our.
Calibrate and validate your data. Yes.
It was very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Prepare summary table of review of literature.
Prepare a summary table of review of literature. What for? Why? Why should you prepare summary table?
To find the research.
To find the?
Research.
To
Research
find
gap.
the?
Research gap.
To find the research gap. If you put a 50 author, easy for you to find the research gap. The purpose, whenever you say an answer, you must have an additional answer also. What for you are telling this answer? Very good. Next, please. Quickly. Nobody in that row?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
While writing the thesis, we must use enough words like eventually, consequently, and supporting to this.
Oh,
kind of words.
okay. You must learn to connect. You must learn to connect these words. Okay, next, please.
The PhD scholar need not be a job seeker alone. He can also be a billion-dollar entrepreneur also.
PhD scholar need not be a job seeker alone. He can be a billion-dollar entrepreneur. So, which is good? You want to be billion-dollar entrepreneur at the age of 40, or you want to be a billion-dollar entrepreneur at the age of 90? Because I was not, nobody taught me like this. When I was doing PhD, I should be $1 million like this. That's why I'm here. But you develop your habit of, you become a $1 million entrepreneur out of your PhD. That's very, very significantly important. Good answer. Let's give a good clap. Good message. Yeah, next, please. Next.
Sir, graphical methodology and thematic mapping.
Graphical methodology and thematic mapping is very important before you start your PhD.
Yes.
Pen your mind. Sir, what is called pen your mind? What is called pen down your mind? Whatever you are thinking to do research, you should pen it down. You should write it down, draw it down. Pen down your mind. P-E-N-D-O-W-N. Pen down your mind. You must pen down your mind what you are going to do, what you are going to achieve, because the mental flow of thinking may not be the same after 10 days or 20 days. So whenever you get in time, that's a habit, because I have a notebook like this, small notebook, for the past 36 years. And it will be in my pocket. Whatever I find, interesting message. Oh, yesterday was something like what is called atrial fibrillation. I came to know in the BBC News atrial fibrillation. I write it down. But my 36th year notebook also, if I look at it, those days, the notebook were very, very small and very different. And if I take those notebook, I'll be able to find very interesting message. Which friend has made a good, only technical, no non-technical, only technical. And this will help you. If you have the habit of having a small notebook like this, will help you. It's a pocket diary, but it helps you while writing, putting some good words. It will help you a lot. That's a really, really good message. Next, please. Next, quickly. Quickly, next, please. Where's the mic? Yeah, start பண்ணுங்க. Good. Yeah, take it and quickly come down. I want to finish it. Yeah, please sit down.
If you fail to plan, it will plan to fail you.
If you really good message, excellent message. Excellent message. Good clap. It's a good take-home message. If you fail to plan, that will fail to miss your flight. If you are booking a Ola, you should have an alternative. Oh, if this guy take withdraw, what is the alternative? If you do not have alternative, your flight will miss. You will go 10 minutes late. Your flight will not wait. So therefore, if you fail to plan, that will plan to fail you. Good message. Next, please. Next, please.
Validate your environment.
Validate your
Environment.
data.
Yes.
Validate your data and the experimental environment. Calibration and validation of your data is very important. So who is responsible for your wrong data? Who is responsible? Your guide? No? You are responsible. Why? You only know. You only know. So because your guide is a facilitator. So you should develop a calibration validation method. I also told you glucose and the standard glucose, put it to your instrument, you're safe. Next, please. Next, quickly. Next.
Literature review, review of literature and critical review.
Review of literature and critical review of literature. What is the difference, sir?
To find a research gap, a scholar should be a critical review of
Literature. Okay, good. Another important question. When do you have to submit a review paper for publication? Immediately after joining your PhD or after 4th year after minimum publishing 3 to 4 papers? When do you have to write and publish your review paper? Immediately after joining your PhD. Very good, excellent answer. But it is wrong. When you become a reviewer, you want to review papers. Some journals will take you as a reviewer. When? After completing PhD or before completing PhD? So, after completion means you would have written 3 to 4 papers. Okay? So, you have to write review paper only after publishing minimum 5 research papers. Only after writing 5. But what we are doing? After joining, within 6 months, sir, I am going to write review paper. Have you become expert to write review paper? What is called review? You have to review, criticize 60 authors' work as a wrong and right. Do you have the capability without acquiring experience to say wrong and right? To review somebody's work? No. And the next question I will ask you, what is the difference between state-of-art paper and review paper? The work which somebody writes with a lot of literatures, not copy and paste, in the flow of research, what has happened in the particular area is called state-of-the-art paper. When you deeply criticize the research after you publish minimum of 5 to 10 papers, at least 5 papers, that becomes a review paper. So when you write a topic, a review on high rate biomethanization means you are an expert, you publish 5 to 10 papers, you are capable of reviewing others' work critically, that is why you have written review paper. When the state-of-the-art report paper, state-of-the-art and future perspectives on high rate biomethanization. You need not have a experience, you need not have to publish a paper. So please do understand what is the difference between state-of-the-art paper and review paper. Do not write review paper the day one you joined for a PhD. Do not do that, okay? It's PPT? PPT, yeah. So now, that's the reason I'm coming back. Yeah, any last questions I finished? Yeah, please.
We should make it happen, sir.
You should make it happen,
It
your
should not be
PhD.
from the mercy of our
Beautiful, beautiful. The first sentence, you should make it happen within how many years?
within 3 to 4 years.
Within 3 to 4 years. You should make it happen, run fast, be energetic, and finish it as quickly as possible, but you should make it happen. Even if it is wrong, you must build a confidence. Even if the foreign examiner say, oh, your thesis has been done 10 years back by my student, you should be able to defend it. No, my research work is different. Take your work, do a little other way of analyzing your data, interpreting the data, and make it different from the other work, and make it your own identical contribution of your work, and claim it as your research. Do never worry about somebody has done it, so you will lose the heart. Oh, somebody has done it, my thesis failed. Nothing like that. No failures. So if you have the ability to change your analytical interpretation skills, you can make any thesis successful. Okay, next please.
From day before yesterday's message, take home message, it is creating an acronym for the thesis. Creating an acronym for the thesis.
Creating?
Acronym for the thesis.
Creating acronym for the thesis. Okay, very good, very good.
And today's take home message is, have a membership in international societies.
Beautiful, beautiful. Have a membership in international societies. Good message. That will help you what?
We can avail so many
Conference. Registration fee waived off. Maybe some Royal Society of London, Royal Society of Engineering gave me
so many
a free travel fare when I was doing PhD to travel from London to Brisbane, Australia. And I went for a presentation on International World Hydrogen Congress. So I had a chance to get a travel bursary, travel grant, because I was a member. So please take and find out what are the societies, because these are all become an asset for your career. Please take membership in international societies of your own subject. Never forget it. Anybody else? Yeah. Last question. Last, quickly.
Sir,
Karne, please.
sir, we need to have, we have to narrow down our thematic area in order to create a clear road path of our roadmap of our research.
Okay, be focused to your research topic and make a trap down with the pyramid and be sharp and focus. Like I said, 10 years to 10 PhD to 8 PhD to 3 PhD to 2 PhD. That is why the guide becomes a facilitator for you to trim off your thinking potential, thinking ability. You'll be a wider thinking. You'll be very wider thinking. Your guide will narrow, make it narrow, make it narrow, make it narrow. So when he send you out, he will send you with the designation of doctorate of a specific field. You are internationally renowned in that field. So your identity have, as said somebody, brand of your thesis. Thank you very much. Thanks for the good input, both the side. I really appreciate you as a take-home message. And there could be many more take-home messages. But interestingly, everybody's take-home message becomes a take-home message for you also. And every one of this take-home message became a take-home message. So everybody has shared at least one message. What I made, the whole thing was reviewed. Thank you very much for it. And now I'm going to tell you about in 15 minutes, I'll be leaving you back by 1 o'clock. Is that okay? By 1 o'clock. And I'll be able to tell you about what are the funding fellowship opportunities are available when you are doing PhD. Okay? How do you fly to England? How do you fly to US? How do you fly to Germany to do your research work, advanced work? Come back and submit PhD in Anna University. Okay? So before that, how many of you want to have a fellowship to go to abroad and do part of your research work and come back and submit? How many of you are interested on it? Let me check. Sir, எங்க அப்பா அனுப்ப மாட்டாருங்க சார். நீங்க இதை எதுக்கு சார் சொல்லி கொடுக்குறீங்க? No, not like that. How many of you are interested? 1, 2, 3. Very rare. Less. So, can I know the reason why others are not interested? From somebody? Anybody? Yeah. It is allowed for part-time, full-time, no barrier. You should be a PhD student. That's what I'm going to tell you in these 15 minutes. Pardon? It is for only PhD students. That is called a split site fellowship. What is split site? You are splitting the PhD site into two. One in your native university, other in the foreign university. That is what is called a split site fellowship. So you should look into the Google split site fellowship and you must adopt it. So I can use internet in my computer? Possible? Use panna mudiyuma? Okay, these are all the website I have given to you. Okay, I am going to leave it to your organizer. I can just make a demo in some of it, but these website are fully, I put every fellowship website. You can just copy it and put it in Google and you can go through that and find out. Because I am familiar, pardon? Yeah. Oh, thank you. So because I am familiar, I didn't put everything, but to get this fellowship, what are the minimum requirement? That I want to tell you. The minimum requirement is minimum 2 research papers published. Completed the comprehensive viva of 1 year. Minimum you should have passed 1 year. Minimum 2 research papers published. Potential acceptance letter from a foreign professor that he is ready to take you for period of 1 year, 1.5 years, and he is ready to accept you to submit your PhD thesis back in Anna University after 3 years or 4 years. So you must have an acceptance letter from a foreign professor, any fellowship, any fellowship. So the foreign professor's work and your work should be compatible. Then only the acceptance letter will be valid. And the foreign professor, while you selecting, should be well known to the top level of that country, because whenever they sit in the scrutiny committee, because it will happen 2-way or 3-tier scrutiny. One scrutiny in the office of the fellowship where you are submitting, another scrutiny will be in the expert level in India, and the final scrutiny will be in the foreign country, whichever the country is offering the fellowship, they will scrutinize. When they scrutinize, they will look at the professor's profile. They look at which professor profile, where did he do PhD, where did he study, what is his potential, then only they will award the fellowship. So you should have minimum 3 important documents. One is your completed comprehensive viva, you should have a certificate, and second, you should be a registered PhD scholar, and third, you must have a good acceptance letter, and the first one I said, you must have published minimum 2 papers. Then only the foreign guide will be impressed. Otherwise, nobody will give you an acceptance letter. While contacting itself, sir, I have published, professor, I have published these 2 papers, which is quite interesting. And very cleverly what they will do, while writing the paper itself, they plan it well in advance. I must catch this professor, he is a Nobel laureate. I must be blessed to work with him. You have to plan it well in advance so that you can interact with him. I read your article, professor, which is very interesting, very nice papers. And I like this concept particularly. You have to interact well in advance. When he convinced that you got a good stuff of good research potential, after 6 months, when you have a good access, obviously you have a chance to, he will accept it for you. Okay, this is the way that you will do it. Okay, so you can go here, every website which I have given, you can just go there and do a lot of site. Apply for 2025 UK intake, study in UK. So in this you can go into split site fellowship. Okay, so I will go very prominent fellowships, only 5 or 6 fellowships. There are 50, 60 fellowships available like this. Those who are really interested, it will help you later on, but I will not waste time in go to the PPT. So all these websites you can go ahead. Yeah, next please. Commonwealth Split Site Scholarship in UK 2025. It's fully funded. Commonwealth Split Site Scholarship 2025. I said split site. You understand what is split site, no? Splitting your PhD site into 2. One is in abroad to be done, one is in India. That's called the split site fellowship. In the UK, offer fully funded opportunities for PhD students. And conduct high impact research covering tuition fees, living expenses, travel cost, and more, all this. So, designed for academically excellent students, the Commonwealth Split-Side Fellowship support candidates registered for PhDs at universities in Commonwealth countries. How many Commonwealth countries are there? How many Commonwealth countries? 54 Commonwealth countries. How many countries are in the world? Total? Okay, no question about general. So, split-side, the scholarship is for 12 months. Only 12 months. And after 12 months, you should come back and submit whatever the work you have done, and you can. But very interestingly, your guide also can travel in some of the fellowships. Particularly, there is a fellowship called DAD fellowship, sandwich model. So, if you are going there, your guide in India can visit for 3 months, because you should also know what work you are doing. Okay, so when you go there, you must communicate with your guide in India and collaborate with him and tell him what exactly you are doing it. So, Commonwealth Split-Side Scholarship in UK 2025-26, unfortunately the last date is over, because now it is good for second and third year students, those who are there. But I am just giving you information now itself so that you can be aware. So, 5 important fellowships from UK. Research scholars, 5 research scholars for Indian students in the UK, the Times of India, that's a news came. What are the scholarship? So, Indian Science Technology Innovation Portal, you have almost 51 fellowships, whatever you have. All the fellowships are given in that particular, this website. You go there, whatever the fellowships for PhD students, you will get all this. So, overseas visiting doctoral fellowship. This also, the objectives of overseas visiting doctoral fellowship is to build national capacity in frontier areas of science and engineering, which are of interest to India by providing research training to PhD students admitted in Indian institutions in overseas countries. So, therefore, you can avail this. So, ICTS, long-term visiting student fellowship program. So, International Center for Theoretical Sciences, the Institute of Fundamental Research, Bangalore, jointly offer this fellowship. Building energy efficiency, higher and advanced network, that's called Bhavan Fellowship. This is also for students who are doing PhD in, particularly in space science and so on. Boston, Bangalore Bioscience, the same. B4, it's called. Commonwealth Split-Side Fellowship, that's the website you can go through. Indo-German Science and Technology Center. This is what about DAD Fellowship. DAD Fellowship, German Academic Exchange Program Fellowship. So, this will get you to go to Germany. Okay, so there you can do it for sandwich model or Humboldt Fellowship. You can do it for 1 year, 1.5 years, and you can come back and submit. So, top 10 international fellowships for Indian PhD students. So, if you go to this website, you will have what are the top 10 fellowships? It is available for Indian PhD students. So, DAD Fellowship in Germany. So, this is the website. You can take just copy and paste. You can go through this and find out. Just slide show ku vaanga. Come to the slide show. Yeah. So, in UK, there is a Newton Baba Fellowship for Indian PhD students. Newton Baba Fellowship. It's a very good fellowship. The fellowship covers your spouse allowance, your children allowance, your tuition fee, your incidental expenditure, your flight fare. Particularly the Commonwealth Split-Side Fellowship. So, you can take your family for a trip, particularly this Commonwealth. So, your children will have an opportunity to study, you have so much. So, Commonwealth also it's very good compared to other fellowship. Commonwealth Split-Side, fully funded. 5 important fellowships again. So, Fulbright, this is another very good fellowship. One of my student also went, Salma Atika, went a couple of years back on this Fulbright fellowship. Just Google it, what is called a Fulbright fellowship. This fellowship is for 2 to 3 years, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 1 year, it depends. Fulbright Nehru fellowship. It's a very good fellowship for masters and PhD students. Okay? Erasmus Mundus fellowship program, Chawaning scholarship, UK, Jane Tata and endowment loan fellowship, Newton Baba fellowship. So this is the another list you have the top Indian fellowship for Fulbright. What is Fulbright? Sorry. So this Fulbright, you can just go through it and you can take it up. It's Overseas Visiting Doctoral Fellowship, OVDF. So ICTS. So this again Bhavan. That's all about fellowship opportunities in India, in abroad. Indian students, those who want to go to abroad, get trained by yourself for a period of 1 year, 2 years. That will help you to acquire postdoc fellow also. So those who are going there and establishing yourself, and when you come back, they submit your thesis, get your degree, you will go back to the same guide with a good proposal. Because why it is, normally the foreign professors, when you go and do a small piece of work for 1 year and 1.5 years, they will submit that proposal, that outcome of the work in Engineering and Physical Research Council in UK, British Engineering, BBSRC, BSSRC, British Biological Research Council, and British Physical Research Council, British Engineering Research Council, like Indian Council for Medical Research, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, likewise UK and Australia also, they have similar fellowships. So please find out good in Australia, US, Canada, Germany, a lot of fellowship provisions are available. You can choose, you can enjoy working there, and you will be multitasked, multi-talented personality when you start doing your research work in elsewhere in other countries also, because you know the Indian system and also you know the foreign system, and later on you will contribute back. But in every fellowship, because you are deputed from here, it has been asked in the application, you have to write specifically, there will be a column, what benefit you are going to bring back to India when you are given an opportunity to do your fellowship there. So you should be very clear in filling those forms, what benefit you will get back to India, means technically, means scientifically. So when you, not the foreign fellowship, just like that they will give. They will also look at it, oh, if in the foreign country, if this person is trained in this particular field of research, is he going to contribute back to India? So they will decide in that sense. And that is how you should look into how you are going to contribute back to your home country. That is a very important point you have to write. Okay? Thank you very much for your patience here. I will have only one question from this side and one question from this side on the fellowship opportunities. Only 2 questions I am permitted to ask because I have exactly completed at the right time. So I will not spend more time. Only one question I will ask from here and here. Anybody? Only one question. Yes, please. Only on the fellowship opportunities. No question? I can switch over to here. Okay. Anybody? I can come back. Anybody have any question on the fellowship opportunities? Because, yeah, please.
Hello, sir. So you have mentioned about PhD fellowship opportunities, right? So I just want to know what we have for the PDF programs.
PDF program.
Yeah.
My answer will be first finish your PhD successfully.
This is not for me, sir, actually. My sister actually doing her PhD in material sciences. So
your sister is doing PhD in material science?
Yeah, she's about to complete. So for PDF opportunity, she's looking for England or somewhere in Europe.
Okay, because why I brought this fellowship opportunity into here, the world is enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's. People say the world is rich of resources with fellowships. It is for the individual to grab it. For a postdoctoral person, if they want to do it, they write to a concerned professor who have a good expertise on that particular domain. If he or she would have published 5, 6 good papers, even 3 papers with a good quality of output, then they will get impressed. Their institute, there will be a fellowship called Overseas Student Scholarship, Overseas Research Scholarship, ORS. And that fellowship, they will apply, the professor will apply to that university. Every year, the ORS is allotted to professors at least 1 or 2 fellowships every year in a particular department. So when a candidate, a good PhD completed candidate profile goes to the professor, he will write, next year I want this scholar to be my postdoctoral fellow because this work I want to continue and elevate him here. So they will get this postdoctoral opportunity. So postdoctoral opportunity is plenty. It is for you to choose how you can make it, and your work is going to make it. हिंदी में एक है, काम से नाम आना है, नाम से काम नहीं आ सकता है, which means your work will tell you who you are. Your work will tell you what is your name. Not from your name, your work. So, आप काम से नाम आना है. आप जो काम कर रहे हैं, उसी काम से आपको नाम अच्छा होना है. Okay? So that is the intention. Your name should be more based on your work, what you did. Any question if it's not there, I will certainly take a leave of you. I hope you got it. What?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for your patience. Thank you. I hope you have taken a good message. Wish you all the best for your career. I hope you will come out with good publications and a productive researcher after you finish your PhD. Wish you very all the best to every one of you be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. This is the beauty of SHANMUGAM, sir. Every time he will mesmerize us. This is the 4th induction program or 5th induction program. Sir is coming regularly for our induction program and he is presenting extraordinary session. We will give 45 minutes, but sir will be taking for 1.5 hours. Still the audience will be very active and they will be listening very and the session will be very interactive also. See, I have attended sir session some 10 or 12 years back in NIT. I was like you, just like a scholar. I was attending sir lecture. The same intensity or the same thing still sir is continuing. This is the beauty of SHANMUGAM, sir. I hope you have enjoyed this session.